Call on members' order of the day number 1.
Employment Relations Secret Ballot for Strikes Amendment Bill, third reading.
The Honourable Tauhanarei.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Employment Relations Secret Ballot for Strikes Amendment Bill be now read a third time. Mr Speaker, when we get to the end of the debate, we'll be asking ourselves in these words, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Mr Speaker, this is not an attack on unions. We've heard through the first reading and through the committee stages and in a roundabout fashion talk from some of the staunchest unionists in the Labour Party. And I have a great respect for those that go out of their way and help people and stand up for other people, Mr Speaker. But in this debate, sir, this is about workers, about employees, about union members, about non-union members, about full-time, part-time, casual, you name it. It's about them. It's about their rights. This is not a debate about whether or not the union organisation is right or wrong. This is not a debate about whether Labour Party or the National Party or New Zealand First or the other parties in this House, whether they are right or wrong. This is a bill that states quite categorically that when strike action is to be taken, there must be a secret ballot. That is the least that we ask of our country when we go to the polls. Voting by a secret ballot, Mr Speaker. It is about choice. Choice is about making a decision without the sword hanging over the top of you. If it does, I mean, and 9 times out of 10, there is no sword hanging over anybody. It's about that individual making that choice for him or herself. That's all. There's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy against the union movement. There's no conspiracy against anybody in this bill. All it does is allow a couple of things. One is choice, and we've covered that. The other is freedom. Freedom to choose without fear of somebody else putting the hard word on you. And that putting the hard word on you isn't... no, actually, point of order.
Point of order, the Honourable Tauhanarei.
Mr Speaker, I'm not using the word you as in you. I'm using the word you in the context of what I'm saying. So, and I think you need to listen carefully to that speech.
I am listening carefully to the speech, Mr Hanari, and I'm just, if you like, trying to get the member to debate under the terms of the standing orders and speaker's rulings. I call the Honourable Tauhanarei.
Mr Speaker, it is about freedom. It's about walking into a place and deciding for yourself. Not you, Mr Speaker, but yourself. It's about making that decision, given all the information, and not having, and nobody has ever said in this debate, it is about the unions putting pressure on you. It's not actually about that. It is about the freedom of choice, sir. Every employee, every worker, whether they be casual, full-time, part-time, whatever, contract worker, should be accorded the due respect. But, sir, we should also respect the employer and also the union organisers. And, sir, at the end of the day, this is what we wish for every democratic society around the world. Is it too much to ask for? Is it too much to ask for that workers, employees, get the right, when they are asked to withdraw their labour, to do it in such a way that it is secret to them? Oh, okay. Now, see, See, this is the sort of thing that I would expect from William Sewell, the ex-failed Hillary College first 15 halfback. Well, actually, we didn't have a first 15. We had a second 15, and he couldn't even make that. Mr. Speaker, yes, I was in the third 15, and I was very proud of it. Mr. Speaker, I just returned from Uganda. I played on, in those days, it was called flanker, Mr. Speaker. I just returned from Uganda and Egypt. And no one would decry the folk from Egypt and Uganda of democracy, freedom, the right to choose, the right to make a decision by themselves without fear of somebody standing over them with a sword, or even the inkling that somebody might be at the back with a sword. That's all. And so I say to members of this House, sir, it is about the one thing that we hold dear to ourselves, and that is freedom of choice, freedom to choose. And we all hold that dear to our hearts, whether you're red, white, black or green, Mr. Speaker. And I know that the folk in Egypt and Uganda who have had to struggle hard just to get the whiff of freedom, just to struggle hard to get the thought that they might be able to make a decision for themselves, Mr. Speaker. I want to say to my parliamentary colleague, Andrew Little, that his disparaging remarks about my wife and my wedding. Yeah, I will. I certainly will. The bringing up of family and personal stuff in a debate that has nothing to do with it is shameful. And I've got to say to Andrew Little that if he thinks he's going to be the leader of the Labor Party, he's got another thing coming if he's going to act like that. Mr. Speaker, I do have a word for the organisers in the tallies dispute, and also the owners' tallies themselves. It's time to get back to the table, boys and girls. It's time to stop this I'm bigger, I'm stronger than you. Pardon me? Oh, give them some backing. Look, at the end of the day, don't sell out who? What are you talking about?
Order.
What a load of rubbish.
Order.
This is from the member who wants to be the Mayor of Wellington. She said, don't sell out. What, does she not like the present Mayor? Oh, that's right. She's going to retire. She's going to retire very, very soon and put her name in for the Mayor of Wellington. Why doesn't she just leave now?
Order.
Do us all a favour. Why doesn't she leave right now, Mr. Speaker? She's done like a biscuit.
Order.
She's done like a biscuit.
Order.
And she was, and she'll go the same way as
Order.
Cunliffe and
Order.
Shearer.
Order. The member is a long-standing member. He knows that he must use a member's full name or their title. I call the Honourable
David Shearer and David Cunliffe, Mr. Speaker. So, in winding up, Mr. Speaker, this is about what everybody in the world wants, and that's freedom of choice. This is about democracy. If it's good enough for your nation to have a vote by secret ballot every 3 years in a general election, why isn't it good enough to have a secret ballot when somebody is withdrawing their labour? It's the question you have to ask yourself. Why shouldn't we expect the same rules and regulations and standards to apply when we are asking members of the workforce to withdraw their labour? That's a decision. And I don't mind people withdrawing their labour. That's the one and only tool that a lot of people have. But it should be their choice. It shouldn't be another person's choice. And there certainly shouldn't be any inkling of fear when you make that decision. So this is not an anti-union, anti-left, anti-Labour bill. This is actually pro-worker. This is about democracy, and I am reminded of the words from Martin Luther King. Oh, well, we don't want to hear about Martin Luther King. He's only a person in a byline of history. What he said was, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty we're free at last. You bet.